What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we are talking about gold making once again, and we are doing so in a matter of rediscovering methods of making gold that was really good in the past. They fell off for quite a while, and now they are making a return. Now what I'm doing in the background right now has nothing to do with this video, by the way. This is just for the introduction, and I'm currently making some gold by shattering as well, and I'm playing on 2 accounts, so I just want to highlight that you can do something like this, where I'm shattering shards into dust in the background and make gold while I do my other things as well, so I can farm on the other account or craft even more stuff on the other account. Either way, this shattering is not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is a whole different story. Now, before we talk about today's goldmaking strategy, I do want to say that everything when it comes to crafting and crafting for profit, it is highly sensible to something like supply and demand. And when a video like this comes out, dude, cat, you are fine. Stop. If you hear any meows in the background, that's just my cat, who, I don't know, likes to make a lot of noise. Either way. So, like I was saying, when you're crafting and crafting for profit, it is a lot about supply and demand, and the more people start doing the same craft, the less profit you tend to make due to people just naturally undercutting each other, and the prices primarily being driven by supply and demand. And when a video comes out that talks about making profit from a certain craft, the supply will go up by a lot because people try it now, and then demand stays the same. So I would say there's 2 takeaways here. Number 1 is that you should probably just take this video with a pinch of salt and try it out now. Feel free to do that, and if it's not profitable right now, then leave it alone for 2 or 3 days and then come back and try it one more time when the quote-unquote hype has fallen off. And the same thing goes for any crafting video out there, not just from me, but anyone else who tells you about a profitable craft. Just because it's not profitable when that information becomes public doesn't mean it's dead forever. It just means that too many people are trying that out right now, so just leave it alone for a few days and try it out later after the hype dies down. And number 2, if you want to capitalize on the gold making methods that I talk about on my channel before they go public, is that when you buy my gold making guide, which is linked down below in the pinned comment, I give you guys early access to my gold making videos, which means, for example, in this case, you would have had access to this video for a couple of days before it went public, so you can actually do those crafts before it's more public information, and it's just my way of giving back to you guys, plus also making sure that those of you who support me that little bit extra get something back for it. And it's a way to secure these methods to make a lot of gold for as long as we can, while also making the information public, because something that I want to with my gold making and my channel here on YouTube is to make things public. I want people to understand how to make gold both by farming and crafting, but I also understand that when information becomes public, it kind of ruins the information a little bit, so we're trying to hold back as long as we can. And also, yeah, it's just a matter of not destroying the market, but also making information public. So once again, if you want to have early access to my videos, check out the guide through the link down below. Now, that was a long introduction, just talking about a general mindset you wanted to have when approaching not just this video, but any video talking about crafting for gold. It's just the mindset you want to go into it with. So with that being said, let's talk about today's goldmaking strategy, which is making parts with engineering. And at the moment you can see my craft sim crafting results based on a total of not just 49 crafts, by the way. I did reset this at some point, but you can see how many crafted items we have in the window right here. So we've been mass crafting a bunch of gyrating gear, and also entropy enhancers, and a handful of bismuth bolts. And I've spent about 10 minutes crafting so far, and made 62,000 gold profit. If we were to give this a gold per hour, that would be 300,000 gold per hour, which is pretty much not realistic, but I mean, at the moment, this is what they're selling for, and I'm trying to, instead of just crafting one item, I am crafting everything that gives me profit, so I can offload it while it's profitable. And the reason why this is profitable is pretty much supply and demand once again. A lot of people have left the parts crafting market, and that means that those of us who are left, we can capitalize on this and make a little bit of gold. Now, there are two things to keep in mind here when you are crafting. I'm just going to show you my build, and the build that I have is super simple. We have spec'd into, just ignore these points by the way, that is just because I have too many points, but the main spec is in inventing, and for inventing you want to have 40 points, 40 points, 30 points, and 15 points in Ingenious to get this buff. That buff is a 12-hour buff giving you 150 multicraft and resourcefulness, so that one is pretty important to have. So one more time, the build you're going for is basically what I'm showing you now on the screen, minus 15 points in this one. You don't need these last few points, they only give you more ingenuity and less concentration cost when you're crafting. So pretty much the build that I'm showing you, minus 15 points, so you do want to have some knowledge points for this. And something you might notice is that I only have a quality 4 blue tool, which was a mistake, and I could definitely upgrade this at the moment to get quality 5 instead, but I already have it enchanted, and it's quality 4, which is decent, not the best, but decent, and I only have 2 green accessories. One of them is even quality 3. I don't know why. I basically got it at quality 3 and I never really upgraded it. And we have 1 quality 5, a bismuth brainweave projector. I do have enough acuity at the moment to make myself another blue tool, which I'm probably going to do, and in this case multicraft is worth the most, so I'm going to make this one, the bismuth brainweave projector. And I might even throw away mining, go for a quick acuity shuffle, and get even more acuity on this character just to really max out gear crafting. But even with my current build and these tools that I have, I am making a bunch of gold, as you can see in the crafting window. So far, you can see basically what I've made, you can see the saved reagents, and right now I'm going to reset the data here, and craft a little bit more to show you the gold in real time on different crafts. So we can start with arguably the least profitable one here, which is handful of bismuth bolts, and what you might see here is that every time we only get 1, we lose a lot of gold, but when we get 2 or even a multicraft proc, we do make a bunch of gold, and I'm just going to let this roll for a little bit to see how much gold you can expect to make. I don't think you'll be getting rich by making bismuth bolts, but a lot of your gold comes from multicraft procs, so you want to make sure you have as much multicraft as possible whenever you're doing these crafts. Now at the moment you can see my stats are 13% resourcefulness, 39% crafting speed, and 18% multicraft, and 14% ingenuity. Now there's one thing you can do to speed this up massively, and that is to use a aerated file of quick hands. This increases your crafting speed by 30%, and it's said to only work for Dragon Isles recipes, but it still works for the War Within. So I'm going to pop one of those right now. We then get 69% crafting speed, and we can start crafting a lot faster, which makes you make more gold per hour if you're crafting something that's profitable. Now, a handful of bismuth bolts do seem to be profitable when you're crafting a lot of them, but it's a gamble, because once again, when you're making rank, when you get only 1 of them, you lose a lot of gold. When you proc 2 of them, you make a little bit, and all of your profit really comes from those multicraft procs. Now, I said I was going to start with the worst one first, so once again, handful of bismuth bolts is probably the worst one to go for. I'm just showing you a very small sample right here on the screen, but overall I've made profit with this, but not that much. We're looking at between 500 and 700 gold per minute, so not bad but not good either, and it seems to be very RNG because you lose 50 gold when you craft 1 and you only get 10 gold back when you craft 2. That being said, all of your profitability comes from resourcefulness and multicraft procs. Next up, we can reset the data one more time and go through guy rating gear. So on the guy rating gear, we can see that once again we are losing 50 gold when we craft quality 1s, but we make 2 gold or 10 gold when we make quality 2s, or not quality but quantities, or 2 quantities. That being said, when we proc multicraft here, which happens a little bit more often, we proc more of them, and overall guy rating gear seems to be doing almost twice as good as the handful of bismuth bolts, especially for me in the long term as well. They just seems to be doing way better. And one thing to note here is that when you're doing handful of bismuth bolts, you only use 1 reagent reagent, and resourcefulness works in a really weird way when you only have one reagent. So one of the reasons why guy rating gear is a lot more profitable than, for example, bismuth bolts, is that resourcefulness is proccing way more often. I mean, you can already see the saved reagents are going up quite a bit when we're making these items, and yeah, we're making a lot of gold on the bismuth right here. I'm just going to buy these as well while they are available, buy 100 more of these junk buckets and make a couple of more guy rating gear. But as you can see, even now it's pretty much profitable. I'm just going to keep this rolling for a little bit to show you roughly the gold you can expect to get. But once again, most of your gold comes from multicraft procs. That is where the big gold is. And on a gold per hour note, it's kind of hard to say. I just pretty much went out of bismuth right here, but on a gold per hour, I would say you can probably look at, for example, now we procced 5 guy rating gear twice in a row. That is massive gold. Now, on a gold per hour basis, this would be about 50 to 60,000 gold per hour, assuming you can resell this at the current price before they go down in price or something like that. Next up, we have the safety switch, and for this one we're going to reset the data one more time. And on this one, as you can see, we are losing a little bit of gold every time you make only one of them. Actually, we're losing a lot of gold, but when you proc multicraft, you make a lot of gold for every single proc. So this one will be bad if you have bad RNG, will be good if you have good RNG, and you have to make quite a few of them to even that out to be in the green in long term. Now, if you make a couple of thousands of this, or even like several hundreds, you will usually even yourself out to be profitable, and I usually make about 2,000 gold per minute when making this item. I mean, as you can see right now, while I've been talking about this, we've already made 1.2k. It keeps going down until you get a multicraft proc, and then it goes up, and then it goes down a little bit again. Then every time you proc multicraft, it goes up to the sky every single time, and at this point we are on 1.6k, just once again goes up in chunks and then goes down a bit to then skyrocket once again. So yeah, this one seems to be really good, making about 2,000 gold per minute, give or take, at the current price. Now, the best one for me so far has been the entropy enhancers. So for this one, just looking at the price right now, they're selling for 352 gold. Now, the prices of the materials, bismuth is 25 gold, so that is 100 gold to craft. Iron claw ore is 15 gold each, that's 30 gold. We're now at 130 gold crafting cost. Then we have Acherite, another 17 gold, so 35, 165, and then this one. We can just round up and say it's 200 gold to craft. That means we're making gold. Just baseline, every single time I craft this, we're making about 100 gold, but the prices goes up and down all the time. But as you can see, for the entropy enhancers, at the moment when I'm recording this, it is literally profitable every time I do anything. I did forget to reset the data here, so let's just do that real quick. But as you can see right now, this one is so good. The gold per hour here would be in the hundreds of thousands, I believe 300k give or take, and you can just see right now, we're already 3,000 gold profit because somebody flipped the market a little bit. Now, usually, instead of making 100 gold per craft, they usually go for 100 gold less, which means that you break even when you proc only one, but every time you proc multicraft, you make profit. So this one has always been the best one for me to craft. That being said, it's also the one that sells the least, because it's usually used in toys and various items with slightly less demand. So Chaos Circuit and Entropy Enhancers are usually the least in demand, compared to, for example, Guy Rating Gear, Safety Switches, and handful of Bismuth Bolts, even Whimsical Wirings. So even though this one makes the most gold per unit, it also sells the least. So I have made too many of them already. We have 500 of them now, but I mean, if I sell all of those, that is a massive chunk of profit. And engineering, part crafting, was something that made me a lot of gold in the first week of the War Within, and it's really fun to see it making a return. And pretty much everything that I've been crafting so far today has been profitable. The handful of bismuth bolts is a little bit shady. That one is arguably profitable, not profitable. It seems to be on the edge, but everything else so far has been profitable today, and that makes me really happy. And I wanted to share that with you guys so you can make some profit as well. Either way, that's the video, that's what I have for you today, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you did enjoy the video, leave a like down below. Once again, the guide, the link to my guide, the Goldmaking Guide, is down below as well in the pinned comment. So if you haven't checked it out yet, now is a good time to do so. And thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.